Hello, welcome to today's learning objective, that is colloidal state. Thomas Graham in 1861 has observed that the soluble substances may be of two types, crystalloids and colloids. Crystalloids and colloids. So crystalloids are those substances which can easily be obtained in crystalline and those solutions which can diffuse rapidly through a vegetable or animal membrane. Example, parchment membrane. Other examples of the crystalloids are sugar, urea, salt, acids, and bases. On the other hand, colloids are generally amorphous. They are amorphous and its solutions show little or no tendency to diffuse through the membrane like gelatin, aluminum, glue, so on. So we need to know the difference between a true solution, colloidal solution, and a suspension. Yeah, the size matters here. For a true solution, that the particle size is 1 millimicron or 10 angstrom. For colloidal solution, the particle size is 1 micron or 10 angstrom to 2000 angstrom. And for suspensions, the particle size is greater than 200 millimicrons or else 2000 angstrom. Can be visualized naked eyes with the naked eyes. And for true solution, particle size are invisible under normal conditions. For colloidal, they are invisible under the most powerful microscope. They are invisible even under the most powerful microscope, the colloids. Whereas the particles are visible under the microscope and sometimes particles are visible under microscope and sometimes even through the naked eye. Next, the true solution easily passes through the filter paper as well as parchment membrane. Colloidal suspension passes easily through the filter paper but slowly through the parchment membrane. Suspensions does not pass even through the filter paper or parchment membrane. Next, true solutions do not scatter light. They do not scatter light, true solutions. Colloidal solutions, they scatter light just like the Tyndall effect. And suspensions, they do not even show the Tyndall effect. Now, we'll see in detail. I have given you the differences between true solution, colloidal solution, and suspension. Now, today's topic is about the colloidal solution. A colloid is one of the three primary types of mixtures, with the other two being a solution and a suspension. A colloid is a solution that has particles ranging between 1 and 1000 nanometers in diameters, yet are still able to remain evenly distributed throughout the solution. So these are known as the colloidal dispersions because the substances remain dispersed and do not settle to the bottom of the container. In colloids, one substance is evenly dispersed in another. The substance being dispersed is referred to as being in the dispersed phase, while the substance which is in the dispersed and in the continuous phase. When dispersed phase is dispersed in dispersed medium, then depending on the degree of dispersion, they are classified as true solution, colloids, and suspensions. Already I've given you the introduction that the properties of a true solution, colloidal solution, and suspension. Now we'll see here. Again, the particle size too, it is from 1 angstrom to 10 angstrom. And for colloidal solution, it is from 10 angstrom to 1000 angstrom. And for suspension, the size is more than 1000 angstrom. Now let us go for the appearance. True solutions are almost clear. Colloidal solutions So now let us see when a dispersed phase is dispersed in the dispersed medium, then depending on the degree of dispersion, systems are classified into true solution, colloidal solution, and suspension. Now we'll see the particle size. Here it is from true solution, it is from 1 angstrom to 10 angstrom. For colloidal solution, it is from 10 angstrom to 1000 angstrom. And for suspensions, it is more than 1000 angstrom. Now coming to the appearance, true solutions are absolutely clear. Colloidal solutions are generally that clear. And suspensions are opaque. Now coming to the nature, the true solutions, it is homogeneous. Colloidal solutions are heterogeneous. And suspensions, they are heterogeneous in nature. Now we'll see separation by filtration. Separation by filtration, it is not possible. Even for colloidal solutions, separation by filtration is not possible. For suspensions, it is very easily possible. Now, separation by cell phone paper, it is not possible. For true solution, the particle size is almost negligible and it is a homogeneous mixture. For colloid solution, the separation of the colloidal solvent through the cellophane paper, it is possible. For suspension also, it is possible. Coming to the visibility, it is not visible under microscope. Colloidal solution, it is visible under microscope. Now suspension, it is visible to naked eye. Coming to the Brownian motion, true solutions are not observable. Colloidal solutions, the Brownian motion we can observe. It is there, but you can't see for true solutions. For colloidals, it occurs, it may occur. Now we'll see some of the examples of the colloids. Example of colloids, colloidal A silver chloride, colloidal silver iodide, silver protonate, and colloidal sulfur. All these are examples of colloids. Many natural and synthetic polymers are important in pharmaceutical practice. Coming to the polymers, they are macromolecules formed by polymerization or condensation of small non-colloidal molecules. Example, protein, natural colloids, plasma proteins, which are responsible for binding, and certain drugs. So the pharmaceutical action of the drug molecule is affected by them. Starch, hydroxy, methylallose, cyclodextrin are some of the examples for the colloidal molecules, natural colloidal molecules. Now, what is the dispersion medium and what is a dispersion phase? So these are the terms which you need to understand before understanding a colloidal system. What is the dispersion phase and dispersion medium and the type of the colloid? So A solution having finely divided particles of any substance with diameter lying 10 to 2000 angstrom is a colloid. The range, it is colloidal system. Thus, a colloidal system consists of two phases, one of which is scattered or dispersed in other. The phase which is scattered is called as the dispersed phase. The internal phase or the discontinuous phase. The dispersed phase, that is the internal phase, or you can call it as the discontinuous phase. The phase in which scattering or dispersion is done is called dispersion medium, or the external phase or the external phase. External phase or the continuous phase. So these are the two terms. The colloidal system has two phases, one of which is scattered or dispersed in other is called dispersed phase. That is the internal phase and discontinuous phase. The phase which is scattering or dispersion is done is called dispersion medium or external phase. Or that is a continuous phase. This is the major phase of the system. This is the major phase of the system. While dispersed phase continues, that is a smaller phase. Dispersed phase is smaller fraction of the system. Dispersed medium is a greater fraction of the system. Now we'll see, depending on the dispersion medium, dispersed phase, what is the type of colloid and the example. So dispersed phase, if it is solid and the dispersed phase is also solid, the type of the colloid is solid sol. So ruby glass example for this type of colloid. So solid and solid sol you call ruby glass. Next, if the dispersed medium is solid, dispersed phase is liquid, then that is a solid emulsion or gel. That is pearl cheese example. If the dispersion medium is solid, dispersion phase is gas, solid foam type of colloid, and lava pumice stone will take. Now, if the dispersion medium is liquid and the dispersion phase is solid, the type of the colloid, it is sol, paints and cell fluids are the example. Liquid dispersion medium, liquid dispersion phase, the type of colloid is emulsion. Milk example, oil in water is also another example. Dispersion medium liquid, dispersion phase is gas. So foam is an example and the solid suds or the whipped cream is example. Now dispersed medium, dispersed phase, both of them. This is a gas medium and phase is solid, that is aerosol. Smoke is example. Now if dispersed medium is gas, a large quantity, and the smaller one is liquid, aerosol, fog and mist are examples for the colloidal solution. Now we'll see the classification of the colloids. In the classification of the colloids, we are having lyophilic colloids, solvent loving. They are so called because of affinity of particles for the dispersed medium. Solutions of the lyophiles are prepared by simply dissolving in the material in the solvent. Because of attraction between the dispersed phase and dispersed medium, solvation, hydration, in case of water, the particles will occur. Most of the colloids are organic in nature. Example, gelatin, acacia, insulin, albumin are examples. The solution is viscous because of the strong affinity for water called as gels. Now we'll see lyophobic colloid. Lyophobic colloid, that is solvent heating. The dispersed phase has little attraction to solvent heating. Their properties differ from lyophilic. They are usually inorganic in nature. Example, gold, silver, sulfur. And in contrast, lyophilic colloid it is necessary to use a special method of preparing this lyophobic colloid because there will be less stability. So you need a special method to prepare this lyophobic colloid. Now, what is hydrophilic sole? For lyophilic sole, when dispersed medium is water, then they are called as a hydrophilic soles. Example: starch, glue, protein, gelatin, and other organic compounds. They are called as the hydrophilic soles. Now, what is hydrophobic sole? See, lyo means some other liquid, any of the liquid. Hydro means only the water molecules. Here the medium is only water molecule. Here the medium can be any of the liquid. For lyophilic sole, dispersed medium is water, then they are hydrophilic. And there is a proper affinity towards the medium and the phase. Dispersed medium and dispersed phase. Hydrophobic soles. For lyophobic sole, if the dispersed medium is water, then they are called as the hydrophobic soles. Example: metals, metal sulfides, metal hydroxides, sulfur, phosphorus, and other inorganic substances are examples. We'll see the properties, detection of the particles. The properties, lyophilic colloids and lyophobic colloids, we'll see the properties. The particles may be readily detected by means of ultramicroscope. Then there are lyophobic colloids or hydrophobic colloids. The particles are not detected by means of ultramicroscope. They are called lyophilic colloids. Hardly they differ from that of the dispersion medium. Much higher than that of the dispersion medium. So the viscosity is very high than the medium. Here, coming to the electric charge, particles in a sole have same charge resulting from the adsorption of ions from solution. The charge on colloidal particles depend upon pH of the medium. Since the particles readily absorb H plus ion or hydroxyl ions. This charge is often due to the dissociation of molecules of dispersed substance. Now we'll see the migration of particles in the pore colloids. How they react, how they migrate with respect to the electrical field. The particle migrates in one of the characteristic direction depending upon the charge that they are having. The particles may migrate in either direction and may not migrate at all depending on the pH of the medium. Now we'll see the stability. Dispersed particles are precipitated by addition of small amount of electrolyte. Dispersed particles are not precipitated by small amounts of electrolyte, although large quantities cause precipitation. So they're not precipitated. Okay. And coming to the nature of the colloids, when the liquid is removed, the resulting solid does not form sole again by the simple addition of the liquid. When the liquid is removed, resulting jelly-like solid is recovered into the sole by addition of the solid. Now let us see the occurrence. These do not occur naturally, and these occur naturally. The hydrophilic will occur naturally. You just can't see naturally the hydrophobic soles. You have to prepare. Now let us go for the preparation of the colloids. How you prepare? The general methods of preparation of the colloids are dispersion method, and the next one is the condensation method. Now I'm going to give you a detailed description of the preparation of colloids. Dispersion and condensation methods are the preparatory methods for colloids. We'll see dispersion method, a simple method to prepare colloids. In dispersion or disintegration methods, the name itself will explain the particle size is produced by disintegration of the bulk quantity of hydrophobic material. Yeah, disintegration method, disintegration. So for the large quantities, getting disintegrate. So the methods involve mechanical dispersion, electrodispersion, ultrasonic dispersion, and peptization. The next one is mechanical. Yeah, in detail, the dispersion method is explained. Mechanical dispersion. We use mechanical strength for dispersion of the larger colloid into simpler one. The substance to be dispersed is grounded as finely as possible by usual methods. It is taken with dispersion medium and thus obtained in the form of coarse suspension. The suspension is now passed through a colloid mill. The simplest type of colloid mill called disc mill. It consists of two metal discs nearly touching each other and they rotate in opposite direction at very high speed. So mechanical dispersion substance is dispersed in the ground as finely as possible. It is shaken with the medium and obtained in the form of coarse suspension. This suspension is now passed through the colloidal mill. Colloidal mill, you can see. And the simplest type of colloidal mill is nothing but disc mill. It consists of two metal discs nearly touching each other, rotating in the opposite direction at very high speed. The suspension passing through this rotating disc is exposed to powerful shearing force, and the suspended particles are apart to yield particles of colloidal size. Colloid mill are widely used in industrial preparation of paints, cement, food products, and pharmaceutical products, etc. Okay, so mechanical dispersion. This is the driving belt. And you have, this is the driving belt, top and bottom you're having. And these two are the discs, steel discs rotating opposite direction, clockwise, anti-clockwise, and the suspension. So this is the mechanical dispersion. As they keep rotating, the particle is getting dispersed. This is mechanical dispersion. Now, the second type of dispersion is electrodispersion, ultrasonic and peptidation. We'll see. So dispersion. These methods are employed for obtaining colloidal solutions of metals like gold, silver, platinum, etc. We use the gold ornaments. How it is, the colloid is broken down, it is getting dispersed with the help of electricity. So the methods are employed for obtaining this method, electrodispersion. It is done for preparation of gold colloid, gold sol, silver colloid, and platinum. An electrical arc is struck between the two metal electrodes placed in the container of water. You can assume a container is taken, the water is taken in that container, and two metal electrodes are placed. If you take gold, if you want a gold sol, you have to take the gold metal electrode. If it is silver sol, you have to prefer the silver metal electrode. If it is platinum, you have to prefer the platinum metal electrode. And these have to be placed in the container containing water. Now, intense heat of the arc converts the metal into vapors. See, whatever electrodes we are taking, these electrodes, they are converting into vapor state by the aid of arc of heat. These get condensed immediately in the cold water. See, as the water is rotating in the container, and in that container, you are placing the metal electrodes. And when a heat arc is placed, it is struck. You get the, when you place that heat arc is placed, you get the vapors of that metal, and immediately the metal vapors get condensed immediately in the cold water. As a result, there is a formation of particles of colloid size. We call it as gold soul. We call it as the silver soul, or we call it as the platinum soul. In this way, the soul is prepared, and further for ornamental purpose, we use this soul. Yeah, whatever I told, now you can see the Bredig arc method. This is electric arc method, how we are preparing the colloid. Such an interesting one, the electric dispersion. Mechanical dispersion, you have seen the diagram. Similarly, electrode dispersion also, Bredig arc method. And the next one is ultrasonic dispersion. This is the Bredig arc method, a container containing water dispersed medium. This is ice bath, water in the container, and in that you are having two electrodes are placed, connected to the positive negative terminal. The heat of the arc is given, and the metal, immediately the vapors come out into the cold water, the dispersed medium, and they convert into the soul. This is the way you prepare colloidal solution by Bredig arc method, electric dispersion. Now, the third one is ultrasonic dispersion. Ultrasonic vibrations, the ones which are having frequency more than the frequency of audible sound. See, that is not ultrasonic dispersion. The vibrations are heavy. So the frequency is more than the frequency that is audible sound. You just can't hear. So these could bring about the transformation of coarse suspension of colloid dimensions. Claus obtained mercury soul by this method, ultrasonic dispersion method. Here he is subjecting the mercury to the sufficiently high frequency of ultrasonic vibration. You can see the diagram, electric oscillator, quartz generator, the mercury coil. Due to this sound from this oscillator, due to this ultrasonic sounds, these vibrations, you're getting the arc. Okay, and this way you prepare the mercury soul by ultrasonic dispersion. And the next one is peptization. Peptization is a process of converting a freshly prepared precipitate into colloidal form by addition of suitable electrolyte. The electrolyte is called peptizing agent. The electrolyte is called peptizing agent. For example, when ferric chloride is added to precipitate of ferric hydroxide, it is added to the ferric hydroxide. A freshly prepared precipitate converts precipitate to it's a solid mass. And by addition of the peptizing agent or suitable electrolyte, the colloid solution can be prepared. The electrolyte is called peptizing agent. Ferric chloride is added to the precipitate of ferric hydroxide. Ferric hydroxide converted into reddish brown colored colloidal solution. And due to preferential adsorption of cations of the electrolyte by precipitate, when ferric chloride is added to ferric hydroxide, Fe plus 3 ions from FeCl through are adsorbed by FeOH thrice particles. Thus, the FeOH thrice particles acquire positive charge and they start repelling each other, forming a colloidal solution. So this is the way we prepare. This is the way we are preparing the colloid by peptization method. So mechanical dispersion, electrodispersion, ultrasonic dispersion, peptization. These are all the dispersion methods. two types of preparations. One is dispersion, the second one is condensation. Under dispersion, these are the four methods by which we prepare colloids. Now we'll go for the condensation methods. Sulfur sol is obtained by bubbling H2S gas through the solution of an oxidizing agent like HNO3 or Br2 water. See, Br2 plus H2S gives rise to sulfur plus HBr. And similarly, that nitric acid on reaction with H2S, it gives water plus 2NO2 plus S. Ferric hydroxide sol, arsenic sol can be prepared by chemical methods. So this is the condensation chemical method. So today's class, what we have seen, what we have learned is about the colloids. So colloids, what is a colloid? What are the differences between true solution, colloid and suspensions? What are the examples of colloids? What is the classification of colloids? What are the properties that are governing the two types of colloids? And the preparation of colloids we have seen. And in preparations, dispersion methods, four methods are discussed. Four methods are discussed. Now, condensation method, in detail, I'm going to explain you. Sulfur sol is obtained by bubbling H2S through the solution of an oxidizing agent like N-nitric acid and bromine water, etc. Here, this is the way prepared. Okay. Now, in this way, condensation methods and the chemical methods can be employed to prepare the colloids. Okay, next class, I'm going to explain you about the purification of the colloids. Once if you prepare, how to purify? That is the next question. Okay, so colloid, three types of mixtures, true solution, colloids and suspensions. Examples also depending on the dispersion medium, dispersed phase, what is the type of colloid and what is the example we have seen. Now coming to the classification, lyophilic colloids, lyophobic colloids, hydrophilic colloids and hydrophobic sols. And preparation of colloids also have explained you dispersion method and condensation method or chemical method. Dispersion method, mechanical dispersion we have seen, electro dispersion we have seen, ultrasonic dispersion and peptidation. Next, peptidation. Now coming to the condensation methods, the chemical method also, I gave you the example, that is sulfur sol. It is bubbling with the H2S gas through the solution of the oxidizing agent like nitric acid, bromine water, etc. And see, using this one, ferric hydroxide, arsenic sol can be prepared. Ferric hydroxide and arsenic sol can be prepared using this method. One more example for the condensation method is the peptidation also. Just beautiful diagram is there, but it's not shown here. Peptidation method also is a beautiful one for the colloidal preparation. Later on, we'll see the next chemical methods. In the chemical method, I've shown you one example. Still, there are some more examples for preparation of the colloids. That is, by oxidation we can prepare, by reduction we can prepare, by hydrolysis we can prepare, and even by double decomposition we can prepare. So by oxidation, H2S plus O2 gives rise to H2O plus 2S. That is the oxidation method. And the next one is the reduction method. Silver chloride on reaction with tin chloride, it gives tin chloride and Au. Now the next one is hydrolysis method. FeCl3 on hydrolysis, you get ferric hydroxide and HCl. The next one is double decomposition method. So double decomposition method, arsenic oxide plus H2S. that gets decomposed and arsenic sulfide is prepared. So the chemical methods, dispersion methods, we have seen for Bredig-Gag's method and Bredig-Gag's method. The second one is after Bredig-Gag's method. Mechanical dispersion, electrodispersion, Bredig-Gag method, ultrasonic method, and peptization. And in the chemical methods, you can prepare by oxidation, by reduction, by hydrolysis, and by double decomposition. Okay. So tomorrow's class, I'm going to explain about the purification of the colloids, and after purification, what is the stability, what are the factors, how it is stable, and its properties will be discussed in next coming classes. I hope everybody have understood my class. Thank you.